Good evening, and thank you for joining us tonight for our Village of Alsip board meeting. Today's August 2nd, 2021, and we're going to call this meeting order at 7:30 p.m. Can you call the roll, please?
Trustee Dalzell.
Here.
Trustee Juarez. Here. Trustee McLaughlin.
Here.
Trustee Murphy.
Here.
Trustee Navas-Barza.
Here.
Trustee Peretta.
Here.
Mayor Ryan.
Here.
We have a quorum.
Thank you. Please join us for the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, officers' reports, starting with mine. I had mentioned last week, just as a reminder, this coming Wednesday, August 4th, from 1 till 5 p.m., Congressman Bobby Rush will have his constituent services pop-up office be here at the Village Hall. And the flyer that they built to ask us to promote this, it said that to come out and meet representatives from Congressman Rush's office to ask questions and get assistance with federal agencies. Again, this will be in the Village boardroom here from 1 until 5 p.m. on Wednesday, August 4th. Services they offer are Social Security and Medicare advice, federal housing, immigration, IRS, Veteran Affairs, U.S. Department of Education, federal prisons, and Small Business Association. Excuse me. Also, you can put in there the U.S. Postal Service that they've assisted with in the past year or so. They can certainly answer questions on that regard. So they do have a district office phone number. If you need to give them a call, it's at 773-779-2400. On your agendas this evening, just wanted to let everybody, it's just basically these are notices just to let everybody know that the RFP, the request for proposal, requesting new management for the Heritage Apartment complexes was posted for advertisement in the Chicago Tribune and their affiliates like the Southtown Star and the Village website and Facebook pages. And this past Thursday, July 29th, with all submittals due on August 30th, 2021. Next is the approval. What I put on here was the approval to request bids for the sale of property owned by the Village of Alsip at 3725 West 120th Place in Alsip. Our village attorney, Gary Perlman, is going to draft and post the advertisement to be sold by owner. I know last board meeting I asked that we approve having a realtor do such, and I spoke with Attorney Perlman, and he recommended that, certainly we've got resources here to do the same, and that we should just obviously sell by owner. And did the board have any questions on that? This way we can keep our costs down, and certainly we've got resources to handle that at the same time. It's a vacant piece of land, so it shouldn't be too hard to work.
Did we decide on an asking price?
Well, we're going to ask for bids on the
Okay.
property, so we might do better than what we maybe even thought, depending where the bids land and so forth then too. So Gary Perlman's going to draft that, and I'll share that with everybody once it comes back to us. Next on your agenda was the paperwork. Just want to let everybody know the paperwork is almost completed, and the closing should take place very shortly for the new Gas and Wash development. I spoke with them a couple times over the last week at 127 the Costner, and then Attorney Joe Kankar is here this evening, and Joe has said that they closed on Firewater Barbecue and Brew today, and Joe's going to get I was trying to find it on my computer just now, I couldn't find it, but I'll share, next meeting, I'll share the construction schedule with everybody so you get an idea when they're going to start working. And that's all I had for this evening. Next, we have the clerk's report. Clerk Hardy.
Thank you, Mayor Ryan. I have presentation and approval of the July 12th, 2020 committee meeting minutes, presentation and approval of the July 19th, 2021 Board of Trustees meeting minutes, presentation and approval of the July 19th, 2021 FY22 appropriations public hearing meeting minutes, presentation and approval of the July 26, 2021 special Board of Trustees meeting minutes, And approval to allow the Salvation Army to hold their Red Kettle campaign Monday through Saturday, November 1st through December 24th, 2021, at various locations in Alsip after permission is granted from individual businesses. And that is all I have, Mayor Ryan.
Okay, thank you. Attorney report, we have Joe Kankar with us?
No report, Your Honor.
Okay. No report from the engineer this evening. I was working with him last week. We work on a few plans right now. I will say I saw all the horses staged, Roger, for street resurfacing over on 117th Street. So I know Danny, they're starting that this week, like today, right?
So they're doing the concrete work this week.
Oh, yeah, they got to do the curb and all that kind of stuff first. Okay. So anyway, we got, the engineer was involved a little bit with that, but yeah, that's about it for his report. Next, staying committee reports, Finance and IT, Trustee McGlohan. Oh, I'm sorry, I missed the public forum. Skipped over. Sorry about that. Public forum, did anyone in the audience wish to address the board tonight? You can come on up, sir. Hey, Michael.
Hold on, Michael, hold on, you gotta
Michael,
get you a,
can you use the mic, please, Michael?
hold on.
Thank you.
Hello, Mayor. Hello, board member, meeting members. My name is Michael Joniak, and I live in Alsip, and I'm in a GED program. And what I'm like to address and concern today is I have a dumpster in my apartment location, and on Wednesday the garbage people pick it up, and I don't sometimes there's so much garbage in there, I'm not able to throw my garbage in there, so I skip a couple weeks. And then I just can't, I got to throw my stuff out. So they come on Wednesday, and then the next day, it was totally full. Now I have recyclables, and I wait for my brother-in-law, when he comes around, takes a couple bags. It's really good plastic. And I'm really, let's say, particular on my plastic, how I, bag it, and I'll only give the recycling people the big kind of plastic that is crushed, not the little stuff, because that falls through. And now maybe you guys can work something out, because I got a lot of stuff. I have hard trying throwing my things out. I don't want to contaminate the plastic with the grease and other things in there.
Right.
So I was hoping that you guys could work something out with the garbage recycling people on one day a week that I throw my recyclables in there, and they come back and pick it up, and then you guys work out the finances. You keep something and they keep something, and I'm sure they're happy to have that. And I have other kind of plastic, like toys and stuff. That's they would know what that stuff is. Now I bag everything, and then I got electronics. You guys can work something with electronics maybe once a month. I can put electronics maybe in there or out next to it. Now it's plastic and electronics, and other things like metals. If they take metals, now I can put the metals in the garbage can or put it out of the garbage can.
Okay. So right now, Michael, at the complex, you're in an apartment complex?
Yes, sir.
So right now, do you have a recycle bin there now?
No, I don't. No.
You don't? Okay. So any idea which garbage company, because if you're in a multi-housing one, any idea which company is?
It's Homewood.
It's Homewood Disposal. Okay. Because I know the majority of our regular garbage goes through Republic, but many of the multi-family home project, communities, I should say, they can pick the one they wish because they're paying for it and so forth. So what I would really think in this case, because I don't really have, not that I couldn't, but I don't have a relationship with the people at Homewood. You're going to have to go through your management or your HOA to figure out, your homeowner association or management to figure out if they can accommodate that. If that was regular village garbage, I might be able to find you an answer, even though it still goes through the garbage company anyway.
I could have thrown you off. I just said Homewood. It's a dark blue, and I see a red one, I see a blue one, and a light blue one.
Okay, so it may be. I tell you what, do me a favor. What's your address, real quick, Mike?
3801 West 124th place.
Okay. I know right where those are at. let me take a look, Mike, and ask our rep, what kind, even though it's multifamily, but let me double check with our rep and see if they've got a can that they can leave there for you or something like that, okay? Let me just find out. Because usually those are all outlined in the contract that they put out there and stuff then too. That contract doesn't come up for renewal until like December, but let me see where it stands right now, okay?
So,
Just during the week, like if you wait till toward the end of the week, because I need a few days, just give a call to our office and ask for myself or Becky, and we'll try and have an answer for you, okay?
so I call and ask to talk to you.
Yeah. Or Becky, okay?
Okay, so how much time?
Today's Monday. I was saying, give me a couple days to make some calls and see if I can answer. All
Because the time I was here before, I was talking about three things at once.
right,
It's just, our minds don't work like that.
okay. All right, well, thanks for coming out tonight, though, too, okay?
Thank you, Michael.
All right.
You could just
Thank
leave
you.
it down.
If you could sign the
Sign the clipboard. You could leave that
Just
down
leave that there.
and then sign the clipboard there.
I'm going to make sure that.
Okay, no problem. Anybody else wish to speak with the board tonight? Nobody? All right, thank you. Then we'll go on to the standing committee reports. Finance and IT, trustee McGlohan.
First, I have a request for approval of a list of payroll dated July 30th, 2021, totaling $403,703.54. Next, I have a request for approval of a list of accounts payable dated August 2nd, 2021. From the recap, General Fund, $285,264.91. Road and Bridge, $64.99. Pulaski Road Corridor TIF, $19,409 even. Liability and Workers' Comp Insurance, $72,538.76. Water and Sewer, $258,540.45. Heritage, $88,642.86. Retiree Health Insurance, $41,530.86, for a grand total all funds of $765,991.83. Item number 3 on the agenda, we are going to table for discussion until next week. And then finally, we have a request for review and approval of a contract with Debt Book.
Oh, go ahead, Joyce, do you have to speak to that?
Sure. Debt Book
Okay.
is a product Christine saw it demoed.
It was awesome.
It's a piece of software that allows us to load all of our bond information into, all of our leases into. It calculates everything for us. It reminds us when we need to make payments or lease payments or anything. It's pretty easy for us to use in terms of we send them our documents and they load everything for us. This is accessible by the public if we want. It's accessible by the banks. Obviously, trustees can get into it. It also generates the language that can be put right into our CAFR that shows all the graphs and everything of the payments and what's left. It amortizes everything for us. It's pretty slick.
I'm pulling this up in my packet right now, Joyce, but question, obviously, everybody always wants to know about cost, how much?
So the first year, the cost is $6,500, which includes the $5,000 subscription fee that it'll cost us every year, and then the $1,500 implementation fee. So it's a $5,000 annual fee.
Okay.
Unlimited users, external sharing, support, and training.
And I did sit through the demo for this. It is an awesome tool that I actually wish we had where I work. Keeping track of, the due dates for all of our payments, reminders of when contracts are up, especially when you have multi-year contracts, having that reminder coming up is very handy to have. And it basically tracks all the accounting for budgeting purposes and for general ledger purposes.
Shouldn't that be built into our system already?
Not something like this. I mean, at least, I mean, in the ERP system I work with does not have anything that would be comparable to this.
No, I've not seen an ERP system do this either.
How long is the contract would we have to sign on for?
1 year.
Okay.
Obviously, just in comparison to what we do now, is certainly we're working off calendars and things like that, but you're saying that the other benefit too is not just the calendar reminders, but it's in your books, you're saying then
The
too?
reporting capabilities are incredible.
Okay.
That's what's really nice about it. We have no place right now, I mean, we could set up an Excel spreadsheet, but no one's done it, to put all of our leases into something like this. We need to start to inventory our leases. Every year we scramble with the auditors, where are our leases at? What have we leased? And it becomes more burdensome as people forget, and we just don't have an inventory of it.
And say, or we figure out that the lease is up when we get that automatic renewal and it's too late.
Yes. Yes.
Before we, because again, only this hadn't come up in committee, and I understand we removed a committee meeting, so you need to consolidate once in a while too. Well, it seems like this might be a great product. Did we have our legal team look at this agreement at all?
Yes.
We did, okay.
Yes. We actually inserted some language into it that was from King Carr.
Okay. Joe, did you look at that? Okay, you're okay with it? Okay.
Yeah, and it's, with the new disclosure, like the SEC has new disclosure requirements for debt that gets issued as well, so, now if there's another financial obligation, we've got to report that to Emma and MSRB, so it'll be helpful with that as well.
Understood. And again, for a $5,000 expense, if you believe, and Trustee McLaughlin, I know you're a financial person too, working with a $72 million budget, certainly it's a benefit to us too.
No,
So,
I think it'll be a great tool, an asset to the finance department.
okay,
And it's already in the budget.
okay.
As long as we use and implement.
Well,
My problem has always been is that we do these things, we create a lease, we know the lease is 3 years long, and then for whatever reason, it comes expiration, and the last minute we're told lease is going to expire, we have to do something quick. We've known about it for 3 years. So if this fixes that, then that'll be wonderful.
exactly, right. Okay,
And that's all I have under finance, Mayor.
all right, thank you.
I will not be here next week, so
Okay.
we may have to put off the discussion.
For the file clerk?
Yeah.
Okay. What did I have next? Okay, thank you. Next was the Fire Committee report, Trustee Murphy.
No report tonight, Mayor.
Trustee, I was just mentioning to you before the meeting, just so everybody else knows, I did offer the oath of office this morning to a probationary firefighter that we agreed to hire, and he's going to start on the day shift right now, but we'll do I certainly will swear him as an official Alsip firefighter once he completes his training. I believe it's a year, and we'll do so then.
Very good.
Okay. And, oh, by the way, too, a big thank you to the fire department. I got some thanks. They made a couple of appearances over the weekend and a couple of block parties, and it's always important with the public relations yet, too. But everybody really appreciated them coming out this weekend. Next, we had the police and traffic safety, Trustee Dalzell.
Yeah, see, he didn't take mine.
Huh?
There's no report, just as a reminder that tomorrow from 5:30 to 8 o'clock on Mulberry Drive, which is just north of 122nd Street between Orchard and 45th Avenue, is the National Night Out Against Crime. And there's also a dive-in movie, when that's at 8:15 to 10:15 p.m. at the Sprayfari Aquatic Park, 1930 South Costner. All these things are for the Alsip residents only, They must show a state ID as proof of residency prior to the entrance. National Night Out is designated to heighten crime and drug prevention awareness, generate support for and participation in local anti-crime efforts, strengthen neighborhood spirit, police community partnerships, and send a message to the criminals letting them know the neighborhoods are organized in fighting back. So appreciate it for everyone who joined the Alsip Police Department. Snacks, safety train, disc jockey, classic car show, mobile game trailer, street entertainers, crime prevention, safety information, canine demonstration, Norcom Superior Ambulance, the Alsip Police Department, accepting applications on site, and the Illinois Department of Public Health Mobile Vaccination Unit will be on site to administer free COVID-19 shots. So please join us. That's all I have, Mayor.
Thank you. Next was the Public Work and Boat Launch. Trustee Juarez.
I have a recommendation to award the fiscal year 2021-2022 MFT crack sealing program to SKC Construction, Inc. for the bid amount of $58,653.00. That's all, Mayor.
All right, thank you. The Sewer and Water Report. Trustee Navas Garza.
Thank you. I have no report this evening, Mayor.
Okay. Dan, we have anything, we're not, we got bids going out right now, right, for water main repair?
The bid's been awarded.
Oh, that's right, with the H. Linden,
We're waiting
yeah.
on a pre-con meeting to set construction dates.
That's what I meant, yeah, that's with H. Linden, right?
Correct.
Okay. I saw your guys out in, like, over in my neighborhood today. Were they just flushing hydrants over there, or were they?
Painting hydrants,
Oh,
lots of maintenance.
okay. Dan told me, you found the paint you were looking for, right?
No.
No, I know, but you told me we were looking for some paint. All of a sudden, paint's hard to come by, the right stuff to use for a fire hydrant and stuff then, too, so, okay. So we're still looking for that. All right. Next, we have the Building and Health Report. Trustee Paretta.
Thank you, Mayor. I have a discussion and approval for the special event Sleep in Heavenly Peace, hosted by the Chamber of Commerce, to take place on September 11th, 2021, in the First Midwest Bank parking lot located at 119th South Pulaski Road from 1:30 to 4:30 p.m. And if I may, I'll speak a little bit about this organization and the event that they are hosting. Sleep in Heavenly Peace is a not-for-profit organization providing beds for children who may, for many different reasons, be without a bed to sleep in. At the event, volunteers will be parking on Kamensky Avenue. Food and drinks will be available in the concierge of the bank for the volunteers. Branding of beds will be taking place by certified craftsmen. Volunteers of junior high and high school age are expected, as well as adults. The Sleep in Heavenly Peace organization will take all leftover wood, and the area will be cleaned of all debris once the event is over. I want to say thanks to the Alsip Chamber of Commerce for being instrumental on this event, and that's all I have, Mayor.
Thank you. And,
Under that topic, I just want to say that my family has actually participated in this event previously. It is a very well-run event with different stations set up for the various areas of assembly. I said they did it, I know the last one I remember was over the winter when it was cold out. And they did it,
it was at Kathy O'Hara's place, right, at the Blue Town?
no, the one my family did was over by the railroad tracks on 123rd.
Hope Church? Oh, 123rd.
123rd, just on the east side of the railroad tracks, right in that industrial area in there. There was an event, like I said, back in the winter. But, I mean, literally, I mean, my sister was there, my nephew was there, both of my nieces were there, my husband, my son. I mean, it was literally the whole family went out to participate in this. And again, very well run. And I said, the stations, I said, set up for all the, so it's like if you're building a headboard, that's all you do, is you're going to be assigned to build a headboard. and things like that. But great event, great organization, and I love that they're coming back to town.
Very good. And thank you, Mary Grace Snook. She's in the audience tonight as well, too, the Director of the Chamber of Commerce. Mary Grace, we do have this in our packet this evening, too, as well, too. So thanks for sending that forward. Okay.
Kathy O'Hara has done this, O'Hara Salons, and Marist High School just did it back in May, and then Vocation in Oak Forest just did this, and Sleep in Heavenly Peace has 250 chapters across the United States. So this is, like Christine said, they build beds for kids who've been put out due to family situations, domestic violence, fire, flood, all sorts of reasons. People do have to apply for the beds. They do have to submit an application, but most of the time they're accepted. And they have an ongoing bed drive, an ongoing bedding drive in a size twin. So if you're not able to come out and volunteer, they will accept new twin-size sheets or twin-size comforters. If you want to drop them off that day or drop them off at our office ahead of time. If it's something you want to volunteer for, I have forms that you can fill out. I sent a letter out to our businesses, our business community for sponsorship, and we have our minimum requirement met, which was $2,000 from our businesses. So
That's awesome.
Shout out to our business community for being so generous and kind.
Very good. Becky, we could probably add that to some of our literature and our social media and so forth. Okay. All right, well, thanks, Mary Grace. Next, we had the
Human Resource.
Human Resource and Insurance, Trustee Murphy.
I have no report, Mayor, but I'm hoping to have a date set up for the harassment training for elected officials, a proposed date by next week, and that's all I have, sir.
I did hear this afternoon that you found a candidate, Joyce Tucker, you folks have found a candidate for Finance Department, and they're being processed right now, too?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So obviously HR was involved in it, and Joyce said that he had Charles had a test and so forth that he offered potential candidates for the finance associate job. And this person did really well with it and everything then, too?
Yes,
Okay.
yes. Charles did a good job with preparing everything for the interviews.
Okay. And how many applicants did you get, Joyce?
We had like 48 resumes come in.
Okay.
We narrowed it down to 4, and we've interviewed 4.
Okay. Good. Well, I'm hope this person background check right now and all that kind of thing then, too?
Correct.
Okay.
Drug testing.
Screening and all that kind of thing. Okay. So, yeah, I just heard that this afternoon, Trustee. So just so you know. Special committee reports, Economic Development, Trustee Navas Esparza.
Thank you. The item that I have on the agenda will now occur at a future date. It was to be a presentation facilitated by Marcia Delaney from the Southland Development Authority. I've had some good conversations with Ms. Delaney in regards to some free technical assistance for that might benefit some of the industrial businesses and also some mid-size retail businesses as well. So I look forward to coordinating with her to invite her again to present. And another update is that I came across a potential grant opportunity for the village, and I'll forward it to Mayor Ryan and the finance director as well. And that's all I
great.
have.
Okay, thank you. Trustee, I know we were exchanging emails this morning. Did she ever get back to you? Is she available this coming Wednesday, 9:15, like we were talking?
I have not checked my email this
Okay.
Afternoon, but I'll check right
Okay.
now. I'll let you know.
Yeah, no problem. I actually blocked it off just in case and stuff here, too. So
Okay.
I wanted to get a quick overview from them, that's all,
Okay.
as you did, so.
Okay.
All right. Village Properties, Trustee McLaughlin.
I have no report this evening, Mayor, as you've already discussed. The RFP has been advertised, and we're just now waiting for responses.
Exactly. Roger, how are we doing with construction, all that kind of thing? If you want to tell everybody vacancies and all that kind of thing, at the beginning of the month.
The carpet project, I'm happy to say tomorrow they'll be finishing or starting the last building with the hallway. There are still 4 stairwells that need to be completed at Heritage 2, and they are completing the last stairwell or stairway at Heritage 1. There is one section in the 61 building that we marked out as deficient, so they are going to, I believe that they've already pulled it up at this point, but they will be looking to put that back down at some point this week, and then they'll be putting all the base on hopefully by the end of next week. I'm hoping that this will finally be put to bed by next Friday. Vacancy-wise, over at Heritage 1, I believe that there are going to be 3, and over at Heritage 2, there is 16. So we're a little bit high, but we lost 9 that we've gained this month. So there was a big number this month, so we'll have to get the guys on it. I may look to hire some contractors and just come in and gut everything, so that helps everybody out in getting everything put back together.
So I was telling Roger, certainly you want to keep those, you want to reduce your vacancies as much as you can. And even though we're going through some transition with management, it doesn't slow us down. But at the same time, it represents, we don't profit off these things, but we certainly don't want to have them vacant, especially when you got almost 60 people, or not you, but management companies got almost 60 people on a waiting list just trying to get in there. So we try to accommodate if we can, but like I was telling you, if we need to bring in some contractors to help your guys, so be it. But we'll try and get them refurbished sooner than later, that's all, just so we're not out.
And then the area fence on the west side was completed last week, taken down.
And at Heritage 1.
Over at Heritage 1.
That was a rotted fence. That thing was in bad shape. We took all that down. So where are we at with that? We out for RFPs for that yet, too, or no?
At this point, I do not have it out for RFP, but I will definitely work on it and get it squared away.
Okay. And then we talked to Raj Ballpark. When do you think we're going to, you guys still get me an RFP for the roof?
For the roof over on the clubhouse.
The clubhouse, right. Okay. All right, let's stay on. Yeah, you need help, let us know.
Thank you.
Okay. Next, ordinance legislation, Trustee Paretta.
Thank you, Mayor. Just an update on the current ordinance for garbage enclosures that I've been working on. So I do have a couple more tweaks to make, and then I should be ready to present this next week at our committee meeting. Also, I've been exploring our current snow band parking on our streets. Many residents throughout our village have very limited parking space, so I'm looking to see, especially in Dare Park in particular, and something really needs to be done to help those people out. So I'm kind of exploring the idea of going with odd and even numbered days on parking when it snows over 2, 3, 4 inches. But yeah, I'm exploring looking into that, and I'll keep you guys updated on that.
I actually spoke to at my staff meeting last week. We always meet at the last Wednesday of every month. Spoke to police and public work about that. We're trying to help you with that template yet too. Let's take a look. We're going to have to do a village-wide survey on that. And the question was, and we're going to get back and talk some more about it, but how do we gauge it? We gauge it on the size of the street, that kind of thing too, because not everybody will need that,
Exactly. There's a lot to look at.
It's a full survey, and we're doing this, we're speaking of it right now, we're trying to work on this right now, to try and help you out with that too, so.
Right.
If I get more next week, we'll talk more about it next week then.
Very good.
Okay?
That's all I have, Mayor. Thank you.
All right. Planning, zoning, and licenses, Trustee Juarez.
I have a presentation and approval of a list of licenses dated July 12th through July 30th, 2021. That's all, Mayor.
All right, thank you. Did anyone have any presentations, petitions, or communications? None? Then can I get did anyone want to remove anything from the consent agenda?
We need to remove letter I.
You were just tabling that, right?
Yeah, we're going to table that to the next meeting.
To the next board meeting? Okay.
Are you going to do it next week if she's not going to be here, or the next board meeting?
Well, it can go.
At one point, it was like next week, but then I hear you say board meeting. I just want to make sure.
Well, we can't vote on it till the board meeting.
Right.
I'm
But,
sorry.
I mean,
So
there's.
we'll talk about it at the
Talk
next
about
board.
it
Okay.
at the meeting, so.
Next meeting, right. On the 9th. Anybody else? All right, then can I get a motion to establish the consent agenda?
So moved.
Second.
Roll call number 1 to establish the consent agenda. Trustee Dalzell?
Yes.
Trustee Juarez?
I'm sorry. I was reading.
Trustee Juarez?
Yes.
Her mic went dead.
Trustee McLaughlin?
Yes.
Trustee Murphy?
Yes.
Trustee Navas-Barza?
Yes.
Trustee Peretta?
Yes.
Motion carries to establish the consent agenda.
Motion to approve the consent agenda as presented.
So moved.
Yeah, you second.
I'll second it.
I'll second. Second.
Roll call number 2 to approve the consent agenda as presented. Trustee Dalzell?
Yes.
Trustee Juarez?
Yes.
Trustee McLaughlin?
Yes.
Trustee Murphy?
Yes.
Trustee Navas-Barza?
Yes.
Trustee Peretta?
Yes.
Motion carries to approve the consent agenda.
Very good, thank you. Next, does anybody have any unfinished business? Under new business, okay, Joyce, I had the same thing here.
Okay.
On the P-tabs. I gave everybody right before we started the meeting, the following 2020 P-tab appeals, excuse me, are for the following properties and have the following tax dollars at stake, using 2019 local rates and 2020 state rates for 1 year. The attorney who represents us on behalf of P-tabs, who's Liz Shine, she's with Ordelson and Stirk, recommended intervention on property tax appeals, one from Griffith Labs for $28,000, New Star Energy, $40,000. This would be JAS Trucking for $13,000, First Midwest Bank for $13,000, Enterprise Leasing for $15,000, almost $16,000, Brad Bruce, it's 11703 Mayfield for $13,000, and Pavopolis at 5656 120th Street, $9,200, and Best Choice Meats on Springfield Street for $18,000. So what Liz is saying is, for most of our municipal clients, if it is the first year of the triennial, as the tax year 2020 is, I usually recommend intervention in cases that the village stands to lose, if the village stands to lose over $10,000 in 1 year. The reason I chose this threshold is so that the village expenses, meaning the appraisals, attorney's fees, witness fees, etc., don't outweigh the tax dollars that stand to be saved, and most appellants file appeals for all 3 years of the triennial. Therefore, the tax dollars above could be multiplied by 3 and evidence procured, in other words, an appraisal, in the first year of a triennial can be used in in the next 3 years. Please also note, tax rates change year to year, so these numbers can increase or decrease in addition to the interest accruing. So basically what she's saying is the deadline for file interventions is August 12th, 2021. I know I mentioned possibly needing a resolution for all cases, but I went through the older files, and the resolution we have is all encompassing and allows for all interventions by her firm. Therefore, she needs board authorization as the village's internal procedure that we have here. So what she's asking is at our next meeting, because she's got to start doing these by August 12th, if we could approve their intervention on behalf of these property tax appeals. So what I'd like to do, I want to make everybody aware of what she was doing. We just got this afternoon.
Correct.
And our next meeting is August 9th, next week, so I can bring this up again and schedule a special board meeting to follow, that we could approve the intervention of these property tax appeals on behalf, with Liz Shine and Orlison and Stirk to look out for these for us then, too.
Except for, she did not recommend Pavlopoulos.
Yeah, she's like, that was a small one, it was only $9,200, but otherwise, she definitely thought the others.
Correct.
Okay. So, I'll bring this up at next week's meeting, I just want to give everybody a heads up on that. Anybody else have any new business? Then can I get a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Second.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. We'll adjourn this meeting at 8:10 PM. And again, thank you for everybody coming out tonight, and please try and join us tomorrow night for our National Night Out over on Mulberry Street, down the street from the Village Hall here. Thank you.